please welcome to the show, Kim Lewis.
Oh my gosh, Portia, thank you so much for having me. It is an honor, truly.
An honor to have you. I follow your content and I have tried the sectioning and the moisturizing, and I love watching and learning how you show us how to care for our natural hair. But I also love the lessons learned from the success story of you and your husband, I should mention, right? You two started this together.
Yes, Kim and Tim.
Kim and Tim. So let's start with Kim and Tim in a basement more than a decade ago, working at this. Tell us the story.
And you know, technically, I have to be honest, it started before CurlMix started, right? I always knew I was going to be the entrepreneur in the relationship, and he was going to be the one who would be the breadwinner while I figured out the business. And so for our very first business, we built a niche social network for natural hair. So think like Facebook, but for hair. And it didn't work. But at the time, I was like, we need funding. And I was like, Tim, you know all the trivia that there is to know. You need to get on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Ugh. You need to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
And so I literally signed him up, sent him on the show, and he ended up winning like $100,000. And after taxes, it was like $80,000.
Right. The tax man cometh.
Yes. And
but what did you both learn from that experience of being on that show? That
you really need money to kind of fund your business and to help grow it. Being on the show it taught me about getting press. It taught me about being on TV. It taught me about telling good stories. Because at the end of the day, that is every brand, every TV show, every book. That is a good story.
An elevator pitch, the short version of a great story.
And so once we built that business and it kind of failed, then we launched CurlMix, which is a do-it-yourself box for curly hair initially, and then we pivoted to the 4-step wash and go to help women get this hairstyle.
And why did you pivot? Because I think that's one of the first lessons of realizing this isn't working quite the way we thought. Let's pivot. Explain that move.
So I built the DIY box because it was something I wanted to see in the world, and that's the mistake most entrepreneurs make. You should make something that people are willing to pay you for, not necessarily what you want to see in the world.
Right.
And that was the DIY boxes for me. And then I found that people were loving our flaxseed gel. So it's literally the flaxseeds that you would eat, you would use as an egg substitute. When you boil them, you get a really gooey gel. You extract the gel, put it in the bottle, and then now you can get this hairstyle. And manufacturers would not make it for me. I was 7 months pregnant in my kitchen making 50 different batches of flaxseed gel because 3 manufacturers all turned me down to make it.
Wow.
And we literally did pre-orders to our audience and sold hundreds in a matter of hours. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what we need to do. This is what we should be doing.
So we're just getting away from the idea of having somebody else have to make it for themselves, which if you have natural hair, you know it's going to take some time. You don't usually have that kind of time. And just say, here's the finished product. This is what you need, right?
Exactly. And so because they couldn't get flaxseed gel on the shelves, they were willing to pay the same amount they were paying for the box. And so we literally pivoted the business. I had given birth to my baby.
Yeah, I think we just saw a shot of you at the kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
Mixing in the kitchen, right? This started at home.
I don't know who that girl is because
don't recognize
that
her.
Is not me today. I'm like, she was working crazy. I was bringing my 3-month-old to work with me every single day.
Wow.
And staying at work till 2 in the morning, making products, sending emails, promoting the business. I was like a crazy person. I was probably working like 18 hours a day back then.
That's not crazy. That's the fortitude it takes, right? That's the strength. That's the endurance.
Yes.
But that was hard too.
It was very hard. Yep. And then that year we made our first $1 million in 2018 when we pivoted the business. Well, because you know what? This is like year 5 of entrepreneurship for me, though.
Gotcha. Okay.
Year 5, right? So after 5 years of struggling, trying to figure it out, the most we ever made was like $120K annually. But in the business, that means I'm making like close to nothing because the business is making money and paying bills, things like that. And so year 5, we make $1 million. And then the year after that, we go on Shark Tank. And so that was like a pretty big deal for us.
Of course. So then what's the lesson then from leveling up after an experience like Shark Tank? How do you then say, all right, now it's time to make sure we're in bigger stores, more merchandise? What's the next move you make after an investment like that?
The lesson I learned was that just because you build a product doesn't mean you have to keep that same product as it is from day 1 to day 1,000.
Right.
You should be iterating like the tech companies. Facebook today is not the Facebook it was 10 years ago, right? Neither is Instagram didn't exist 10 years ago.
Right.
And so that was a part of their innovation and iteration. And so the DIY box turned to the flaxseed gel, turned to the 4-step system, that turned to mastering your curls in 21 days. Because that's the real problem that we solve. In the beginning, I didn't know the real problem that we solved. It was just kind of fun to make your own products in your own kitchen. You know what I mean?
But you didn't know what the long-term, didn't sound like there was a real long-term goal just yet. It was look good for the day.
Exactly.
But we can't do this every single morning.
And people were still buying ready-made products at the store.
Yeah.
And so when they were doing that, I'm like, oh, this is novelty and not necessity. If you're still buying ready-made products at the store and then your DIY boxes are stacking up, then this is not ideal. This is not going to be something you continue to do over and over and over.
Right.
And so I really had to make the decision to like close that business. Even though we had 6 months of boxes lined up, we had products that we'd ordered.
How did you know that was going to be the best move, as opposed to somebody who might say, let me just keep selling the product because I've invested in this product and we got to make the money?
I did not. I fully thought that I might fail pivoting the business. And I live life on the edge. I really believe in the sunk cost fallacy in economics when we were in college.
Tell me more. The simplified version in the few seconds we have left. Say that again and explain.
In the past is in the past, and the last 15 years should not determine the next 15. So at some point you have to cut your losses. If you put in everything that you've got and it's not doing better, you need to move on.
Wow. Wow. All right. Good place to pause right there. So much information already and so many lessons. I love it. I still am here cheering for the woman who's 90 months pregnant and making the potions and the lotions in the kitchen. All right.